what I did want to show is how we're going to include these as the development of the stratahedron. And I've actually come across a really cool material that it's basically a whiteboard, for lack of a better term. And when we're actually finished with it, the cool part is that we can actually fold it up into the stratahedron as well. So I'm going to quickly show you how we can actually do that. So we created, I've created these previously out of paper with the online developer, the tool, the online stratahedron tool here. And what we do is basically just create it online through the app, and then we're able to print it out and fold it and just kind of create it from there as well, from folding it into place, cutting it out from the paper and then folding it. And then we have our little stratahedron model here as well. We can hold it together with a piece of tape or those little sticky dots and that sort of thing. So it's a really quite interesting, novel strategy tool to be able to see. Let me get the perspective right here, to be able to see what your strategy can actually look like. And to me, that's fundamentally what's really important here is, what does your strategy look like? This is the model that I use, called the AMPS model, for audience, method, process, and story. And it's part of what I call the strategy expedition, or the NSI, which is, if you want to know the genealogy of that word, you might have to look it up. But NSI is what we're talking about here. It's an expedition to say, how do we actually move forward in our business, and what exactly do we need, and how can we actually plan that journey as well, to move past, lots of talk about recession and that sort of thing. So just keep making sure that we have the tools as well. So this again is based upon that model called the AMPS model, the audience, method, process, and story. And what we can actually do is create from this model, we can create a custom strategy for each and every one of our business as well. So it can be customized and personalized for what's important to you using these factors. And those are some other videos. I don't really have time to go into those today, but those are some other videos that I have where we actually create these specifically for you. But what I want to show you is a new tool that I've been developing that is like a whiteboard, so we can actually use it to reflect a little bit more, kind of try things out and see what actually each concept is about. And if it fits, and if it doesn't, guess what? We actually erase it and we can write something new as well. So if I can just quickly show this as well, this is the whiteboard version of the stratahedron, and it allows us to kind of contemplate our ideas. And in this case, this is a prototype, so I'm missing that top peak as well, that you might see. Actually, if I could just put it like that, you can kind of see the top peak is missing. So I've got some new prototypes coming in that will have that piece included as well. So I do have to kind of skip that piece for right now, just for this kind of quick little demo, but that's okay. We can still kind of get the method across. And I'll just, to show you quickly how it works as well, I'll use the process method in story, and I'll skip audience just for the purposes of showing this. So like I said, what do you do with the whiteboard? You write on it with whiteboard markers. There we go. And it allows us to test ideas and be kind of creative and ask ourselves the questions that actually are part of this. And these are some of the other worksheets that I have. So if you're interested in doing this, just asking the actual questions or looking at the questions, reflecting on them, I've got those as a work kit as well. So all we do is, like with any whiteboard, we write on it. Okay, so there's our method. And what I've found, actually, I didn't do that quite correctly. I wanted to be able to rotate these. And I found that when you're actually creating them, the best way to do it is to have each one pointing up. And that way, when you're finished with it, you can actually build it, and it becomes that inclusive type pyramid, that inclusive type tetrahedron as well. So I'm just going to rotate this as well, so that each element that I'm building here is pointed upwards, and it makes it a little bit easier to visualize and see as well. So I'm going to start here with story over here. That becomes our main element. Okay, and then I have our method, and then finally we've got our process. And I'm just trying to maneuver here with all of this stuff as well. So let's go back and fill this out then. And again, these are, I'm taking a really high level approach here, but there's a lot of questions that go into this, but this is something that we develop as part of this process as well. So in terms of the story, right, let's start there, and we'll see how it all fits together as we get into it. Again, it's just to show you the actual tool of this piece, and how we actually fill it out takes obviously a lot of work and a lot of effort to be able to do that as well. But what's really important here, we want to make sure that we're adaptable. We want to make sure that our story is resourceful. I'm just trying to make sure I've got these in the right orientation. We're connected, and we're resourceful as well. Resourceful. And again, part of this is that we can actually use it to erase it. If we don't really like that concept, we kind of, once we go through the questions, we decide that that's not really something that I actually want to do, or I feel that I can refine that point, then you're able to just basically wipe it down and restart as well. So then let's go through the method. So what's really important here, what is your internal structure to connect? Ultimately, it's your digital ecosystem is part of it. Your digital ecosystem, okay, your digital experience, maybe you should have gotten a finer marker here, and then finally your keystone, digital keystone foundation, digital foundation as well. All right, so that's 2 elements. And again, I don't have all 4 on this specific prototype, but because this is just kind of testing things out, we'll kind of skip that one for now, just so you can see how it all fits together. And so what's really important here, in terms of understanding what it is, well, we've got our digital experience. Our process, rather, is what steps are critical to succeed. So we have our digital experience. We have our value creation. And finally, we have our digital delivery. As well. And we also have some hashtags in the center here that kind of can be used as specific content type structure as well. So we're able to use that as well. But in this case, again, I just wanted to quickly show you what this new prototype can actually do. So we could technically put the hashtags in here to be able to do that. But I just, again, want to think a little bit broader and a little bit bigger as well. So once we've done that, so as you can see, we've just kind of recorded all of the parts, elements, and in black, and then the sub elements in green for the AMPS model, right? That's what we're basing it on, just using it as a different tool, a different medium to be able to work with. So once we actually put that together, it simply folds into place. And in this case, I'm just holding it together with some sticky tape, but that's what our model becomes as well, as we can see. So we have our process, we have our method, and we have our story as well. And in this case, we were missing the audience, but as I said, that's to come. That's just part of this prototype as well. So that's basically it. Take it from here, take it from the model, the AMPS model, AMPS, the audience, method, process, and story. We then created onto this tetrahedron whiteboard or a stratahedron whiteboard, however you want to call it, and whatever name you use, doesn't really matter. But what we're actually doing is using these strategic concepts to be able to build it based on the elements and then your sub elements as well. So we can actually create that like this, and then it actually looks quite cool if we put a little light in on the inside like that. Might be a little bit dark, or sorry, a little bit too light here, but and that's your stratahedron whiteboard. Pretty cool. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments, or message me, and I can send you the kit as well for you to be able to do that. Start with one on paper if you want. I've got some worksheets for that. And then I'm going to be introducing the lit whiteboard stratahedron very, very shortly. So I'd love to hear if you're interested in that. and I can put you on the wait list for when those become available. So thank you so much, and we will see you online.